Hello and welcome to the Voice of Todd. I'm Tom, and in this video we're going to talk about the brand new Disney Plus Marvel series WandaVision. This is season 1 episode 1. I've touched on in a few of my other videos about the MCU how I kind of feel about it. I still feel the same way overall. This is the first MCU TV show that we're getting in the first 6 months of 2021, so there's quite a lot, at least of TV, coming this year. I will be getting spoilery in this. I'll do the usual overview and then I'll give you my thoughts. So if you haven't seen it yet, this is only a short episode, it's about 20 minutes. So duck out now and we will see you back for my review. Okay, let's get into this. We open up with, it's a very bewitched I Dream of Jeannie feel to the show so far. The opening is no different. They really nail that 60s fantasy sitcom vibe that they're obviously going for. The episode is all in black and white, and we open up with Vision and Wanda arriving at the new house that they're going to live at. We don't really know anything else about them at this point. They move in. They have obviously settled in. We get really the main opening. The credits that they run, it's more just to set up the series. There is different credits from episode 2, but we really open up the episode true with Wanda in the kitchen. She is doing the washing up, I think it is, and Vision comes down ready for work in his suit. All very 60s. As I say, it's all in black and white. It adds to the feel of it. We have cartoony stars appear when Vision changes between normal form and human form. The magic that Wanda uses is very limited, it seems so far, but the sound effects work, the music's great. There is a lot of canned laughter, which I personally find irritating, but it's of the time. And it works. But we have the two of them. They have a bit of interplay at the start, all through this episode, and I think the show, at least early on, is going to be the same. The dialogue is very tongue-in-cheek. It's very played for laughs. It's, as I said, it's of the time of the TV that they're trying to portray. So, past that point, we come to the real story of the episode. There is a heart on today's date in the calendar, neither of them know why. Pretending that each of them do, and coming to their own conclusions, Vision heads off to work, and there's a knock at the door as we meet our first supporting cast member. It's Agnes. She's played by Catherine Hahn. She's a very over-the-top, nosy neighbour, typical character that you see in most sitcoms, let's be honest. It works, yeah, she's fine, she's irritating the hell out of me, so she's obviously doing it right. That's how they've written her. We then cut to Vision at work. He works in it's more like a bullpen with a few other guys. He's doing whatever work he's doing with the radio on. The radio, it plays the song Yakety Yak by the Coasters. It's probably quite a well-known song. I know it, I've known it through. I actually know it from an old 90s advert when I was a kid. I won a pub quiz on a question of what advert was this song used in. But yeah, Vision completes all his work. There's a little bit of interplay with him, and I'm guessing Norm, who's his supervisor. Norm is played by Asif Ali. We don't get much more of him from a few moments here. But yeah, again, seems fairly standard. We then meet Mr. Hart, who is played by Fred Malamed. He's Vision's boss. He seems very stereotypical boss for a sitcom like this. It's all very on the nose. This entire thing is very on the nose so far. And Mr. Hart confirms that tonight he and his lovely wife Mrs. Hart will be joining Vision and Wanda for dinner, and that's what the big conundrum is on the episode. We're also introduced in passing to Phil Jones, played by David Lengel, and his great moustache. He's appears later on in episode 2 as well. He seems to just be a joke character who everyone pokes fun at. Again, of its time, fair enough. I don't know how much we're going to get out of these side characters, in all honesty. But so far, it's all fine. We are back to the Vision residence with Wanda and Agnes. They're planning this romantic anniversary evening that Wanda thinks it is. Again, it's so... the dialogue is just so of the time. It really just... It works, and it grated on me, and it just felt old, but that's what they're going for. It does work, and it is a lot of fun, but I'm kind of conflicted about it. But anyway, Vision rings the house, talks to Wanda, crossed wires, about what the evening's going to be, and then we cut to a very strange moment where we get an advert for the Toastmate 2000, which is a chrome toaster made by Stark Industries. Pretty much slap bang in the episode as well. Now, American TV shows, I don't know. I would guess that the sitcoms had adverts in the middle, so maybe it's a nod to that. The fact that this is Stark Industries obviously plays into the Marvel world. It's either an interesting nod or it's something bigger that I haven't picked up on. We will see later as the season progresses. But back to the show proper, and Vision comes home with Mr. and Mrs. Hart in tow. Mrs. Hart is played by Deborah Jo Rupp. I recognise her from I don't know what she's been in, but she's been in quite a few things I've seen. She's the total opposite of Mr. Hart. She's actually very entertaining. I think her character's done really well. Typical sitcom mother-in-law. Like I say, this is all very typical. We get more tongue-in-cheek dialogue as we realise that the wires were crossed. Wanda is all set up for this big romantic meal, and there's now 2 extra people. There's a few jokes about Wanda being European, as is of the time. She's from Sokovia, which is fictitious but was part of Europe, or is part of Europe, depending on when the hell this show's set. Who bloody knows? But Sokovia was the Age of Ultron country that got destroyed. Agnes appears in the kitchen to deliver a load of food for Wanda to cook. Then Wanda just kind of ushers her out. Again, she's playing nosy neighbour, but she brings all the food, and then we cut to Vision trying to entertain the guests. Mrs. Hart wants to get involved and help because she's hungry, and Wanda's doing it all by magic, so to distract her, Vision sings a verse from Yakety Yak, which was on the radio previously. He's trying to entertain the guests, he's struggling. Throughout most of this part of the episode, Wanda's using her magic, and it is just floating things and trying to cook a chicken by clicking her fingers and it turns into eggs, and it's all very chaotic. But we get dinner served. There is actually a point that Wanda gets really confused with what's going on, and off camera she says something. Now I couldn't make out what it was, but the show seems to want you to think it was Diane. I don't know if that's the case. It doesn't sound like that to me when I've listened to it back, but I can't hear it clear enough to make it out. But Wanda freaks out and says something off camera. Anyway, dinner is served, everyone sits down to eat. Mrs. Hart does the usual asking strangers the big important questions of why have you moved here, where have you come from, how long have you been married, why don't you have kids? And both Wanda and Viz enter a trance. They clearly don't know. Or more specifically, Wanda doesn't know. No, I think there's quite a lot going on in this scene. Mr. Hart gets quite angry that nobody's answering the question. He gets to the point where he slams his fist on the table while looking at Wanda, and then he starts to choke. Both Mr. and Mrs. Hart then enter a loop, with Mr. Hart choking and Mrs. Hart telling him to stop. This plays on for maybe 30 seconds. It's fractionally too long, but we get to the point where Mr. Hart falls on the floor choking, and Wanda tells Vision to save him, which he obviously does. He makes his hand go sort of transparent, whatever, corporeal, whatever it is, the term, and pulls out a chocolate-coated strawberry from his throat. And then Mr. Hart jumps up as if nothing's happened, checks his watch, says to him and his wife that they should be leaving, and his wife says they had a wonderful evening. Vision also gets a promotion from Mr. Hart. It's very weird. But we end with Wanda and Vision on the sofa. They decide that today will be their anniversary because they don't already have one. Their song, or their relationship song, will be Yakety Yak, and Wanda magics them up a pair of wedding rings. We then cut to a 60s style credits of the two of them on the sofa as the camera pans out. This is where the interesting stuff happens. We get a shot of, and actually I'll bring it up, I took a screen grab. So this is what it looks like. We get a shot of the sword logo on the left hand screen, and on the notepad as well. We get an old TV in the centre. This is where whoever's been watching and making notes has been watching the WandaVision sitcom. And then on the right we have some 90s style analog recording equipment. Yeah, I found this episode quite charming. I think Elisabeth Olsen has been, throughout the MCU, has been very good as Scarlet Witch. And this continues here. I think Paul Bettany was, again, very good as Vision throughout the MCU. I think the pair of them have really good chemistry, and you really get the feeling of the characters connecting through the short time that we spent with them. That again continues here, although this is a very different tone. I actually think Paul Bettany was the standout in this episode. I think, in fact, in the first two episodes, he's incredible. Shows you how good he is. The supporting cast were all good. I mean, there doesn't seem to be any real focus on any of them. They just pop in and out. But it worked. This episode seems to set up the series in a fun way. As I say, the first few episodes are in black and white. They really nail that 60s sitcom feeling. I think there's a lot going on here that we will realise more as the season goes on. It's pretty clear to me anyway that this is all happening in Wanda's head, and she's being monitored by S.W.O.R.D. I also think that she's in total control of the world with how, or the reaction to Mr. Hart getting angry and then choking and then telling Vision to save him. I think that all points to Wanda's in control. Vision is a construct of her imagination in this imaginative world that she's come up, for some reason set in the 60s sitcom style. Vision feels a little bit dumb in this. He's definitely played for laughs. I'm not meaning that as a dig. I think Paul Bettany played the part well, and he is very funny. As I say, he was a standout for me. But I think that as the season progresses, we're going to get a lot of growth between Wanda and Vision, and the characters will start to change and shift. I don't know why, but I think that it will all be explained as we get deeper into it. We did get 2 episodes this week. My review for episode 2 will be showing up later on tonight. So I'm looking at this one really as the first episode of the new show. I think it does enough. I'm pretty positive on it. It was very short. It's only 21 minutes when you take out the Marvel intro and the credits. The episode 2 is about 30 minutes long when you take out all the bump as well. seems to be the standard time that Disney is going for with these shows, which I'm a little disappointed at. I would like more. This is a streaming platform. There is no adverts. You don't need to factor in any network timing, so they can make these as long as they want, really. They seem to be focused more on sub 30 minutes. Same with Mandalorian, I guess. Most of those episodes are about 40 minutes though, so this is definitely shorter. Yeah, they could have done more, but what we got was good enough. Basing it on, again, solely on episode 1, because that's what we're talking about, I don't know how much impact this will have on the wider MCU. There's clearly things going on. I am very interested to see where it goes and what part of the MCU this ties into. I do like the idea of the 60s TV show. I will touch more on where it's going next one for episode 2. But they really nailed that feeling. The dialogue, the canned laughter, the music, how it was presented, all of it fits that 60s sitcom style. I've said that quite a few times. I know you're probably bored of me saying it, but it really does. It shines through. I watched quite a bit of Bewitched as a kid. It was always on during the day, so I have fond memories of it. I will stick around for now. I went in, as I say, with an open mind and not really knowing what to expect, and I'm interested enough to see where we go for the next few episodes at least. Let me know what you think. I'd love to talk about it. There's got to be some crazy theories, and anybody who's well versed in Marvel that can tell me what I've missed in here, please do, because I know the MCU, I don't know much more. But as always, thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed this, please do subscribe, like, and obviously I want to know what you think, so hit that comment section, and I'll see you next time.